6:49, time for the morning rush. A man has been arrested for a shooting that left 3 people dead in southeast Albuquerque. Early yesterday morning, officers responded to the 300 block of Rhode Island. That's where they found 2 people dead and 1 injured from gunshot wounds. That person was rushed to the hospital where they later died. Police detained 32-year-old Thomas Clark Jr., who eventually confessed to shooting all 3 people.
3 people are facing charges following a massive statewide operation targeting members of a notorious outlaw motorcycle gang. Investigators believe the bandidos were planning to retaliate against the water dogs. This after 2 of the bandidos were killed in a shootout with the water dogs in Red River. 151 guns were recovered in that operation. Law enforcement also found ballistic vests, fentanyl, meth, and cocaine.
The man accused of hitting and killing a 7-year-old boy has been found guilty on all counts for the crash that caused the boy's death. Yesterday, Sergio Almanza's trial wrapped up with the jury handing down a guilty verdict. That was for driving impaired down Central in 2021. It's when he hit and killed 7-year-old Pronoy Batacharia. Almanza is scheduled to be sentenced in the next couple of months. Erica.
And here's a look at our school day forecast. 73 this morning. It's a comfortable start to the day. And 94 this afternoon. It's going to be a hot one with dry and partly cloudy skies.
UNM Athletics has pulled in more money than budgeted for the 2nd year in a row. The highest earnings came from men's basketball sales, which pulled in $3.8 million. Money for this fiscal year is already rolling in as the Lobo football team travels to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. The Lobos will be paid $1.6 million for that game.
Hundreds will flock to Wagon Mound for the 113th annual Bean Day celebration. The event will consist of a number of activities throughout the weekend, culminating with the free giant outdoor meal of around 1,500 people. Bean Day celebrations will also include a number of street and food vendors, as well as a beer garden in the park. Erica.
And here's a look at our threat index. It's 0 today. We'll see a few mountain showers or storms up north and northwest.
New Mexicans are getting ready to send the year's hardship and gloom up in flames with tonight's 99th annual burning of Zozobra. The historic event is at Fort Marcy Park in Santa Fe, and that's starting at 4 this afternoon. That's with the burning of Old Man Gloom set to begin after dark. Some roads and city services will be shut down for the event, as well as over the Labor Day weekend. We have a full list of those closures at KRQE.com.
The oldest church in the country is now officially running on solar energy. The nonprofit Cornerstones that protects historic sites like the San Miguel Chapel says it took 5 years to complete the project. They say it will save St. Michael's High School, the owners of the chapel, money because they no longer have to pay for electricity. Erica.
And here's a check on traffic. There is an accident on I-40 East near Route 66 Casino. Use caution in that area and maybe give yourself some extra time. Tracker is heading west on I-40 near 6th Street, and it's starting to slow down out there.
Well, if you think cheese is just for sandwiches and crackers, one Chicago woman says you have a lot to learn. Jennifer Billick is a master of triomancy or cheese fortune telling. She says every wheel has something it can tell you about yourself, and the cheese has some of its own secrets too. The cheese whisperer's favorite part of the whole experience, eating your fortune afterwards.
Time now for the 5 facts.
And number 5, the oldest church in the country is keeping up with the times. In an attempt to combat climate change, the chapel is now solar powered. But going solar wasn't easy. It's taken 5 years. The main priority, keeping the historic integrity of the building intact. A nonprofit dedicated to protecting historic sites created a plan for the solar company, making sure the installation process wouldn't threaten the well-preserved structure.
At number 4, UNM Athletics has pulled in more money than budgeted for the second year in a row. Back in 2018, the department cut 3 sports teams to save cash. Now, since then, this is only the 2nd time that the school has not had to ask for extra funds from the state. The highest earnings came from men's basketball sales, which pulled in $3.8 million.
And here's a look at our Labor Day forecast. We're going to be seeing those hot temperatures through the weekend with highs in the mid to low 90s and mostly dry skies.
At number 2, we now know what sparked a triple homicide in southeast Albuquerque. This had happened yesterday morning. Police, a 32-year-old Thomas Clark Jr. confessed to shooting all 3 victims in an apartment parking lot near Zuni and Wyoming. Clark Jr. told investigators that he was worried that they were going to kill him over rumors that he had been stealing from them. 2 of the victims died at the scene. 1 was taken to the hospital but did not survive. Clark Jr. is now facing 3 first-degree murder charges.
And number 1, 3 people are facing charges this morning following a massive statewide operation targeting members of a notorious outlaw motorcycle gang. Now, the FBI is saying there are a lot more charges to come. A 173-page affidavit reveals details about what investigators believe was the Bandidos' plan to retaliate against the water dogs. This after a shootout between the Bandidos and the water dogs in Red River. Law enforcement says they found ballistic vests, fentanyl, meth, cocaine, along with 151 guns during the operation. They plan to test all of the firearms to see if they're connected to any other crimes. They expect more arrests on the way.